How's it going, guys? Nathan from Nathan's DIY Garage here, and today we're taking apart the BMW X5. Okay, so this has a 4.4 liter V8. This is at my house, so we don't have a shop. Time to go through all the hassle to take it to the shop to get it taken out and do all that. Then I have my tools strung over somebody else's shop, and it's a big nightmare, so we just did it here. So far at this point, nothing but jack and jack stands, and you can see here the jack and jack stands are under that. We just jacked it up pretty high to get it out far enough to clear the front bumper. It was actually pretty easy. So basically this engine already had the intake and the valve covers off of it from before. You don't have to take none of that off. That could all stay on there. You can pretty much do this with it all complete. You're just going to go in here and hook all your lines. There's only just a few coolant lines. Hook your power steering stuff right there, and then basically what you're going to want to do is pull the struts out. If you have a lift, you can leave the struts on it. You're going to want to go ahead and this thing sits on like a carrier. There's 3 different bolts. There's a bolt right there, a bolt right there, and a bolt right there. And then on the transmission there's 6 bolts. Bolt there, bolt there, bolt there, there, and there. And once you do that and you take the tires off, I mean, obviously we took the radiator out just so it won't get damaged, but it sets that in a whole cartridge like this. It's pretty damn easy. You know, it's nothing that you couldn't do, especially if we had a lift. It'd be so much easier. And then of course we took out the steering knuckle. This thing, when the when the tires are straight, the steering wheel's about a half a turn off anyway. So when we put that back on, it is spline shaft. We'll go ahead and line that back up perfect. We'll make all that right again. And at this point in time, this motor is scrap. It's somebody tried to do the timing chain guides. I don't know what the hell they did. They put them in. It was running. I think they did not take the oil pan off. They did not clean out the pickup screen to the oil pump. When the plastic guides go out, all the chunks go down the oil pump screen and stops it up. At any rate, number 1 cylinder, the pistons rolled sideways in it, so it had to come out. So this is also the same engine as the 540 and the E38 cars, 2001 and up, so the M62tu. So at this point, we have a complete engine. We're going to go ahead and pull out the housing bolts. We'll go ahead and pull out the motor mounts, one on each side, and a few little things, and it's ready to lift it off the cradle. A small garden tractor with a front end loader, and we'll just motor over here with the new engine. We'll pull this one off, put the new one on. The 540 obviously is not 4-wheel drive. I don't know if you can see it in there or not, but it does have a differential that's bolted to the side of the oil pan, so the CV axle actually goes through the oil pan. So the motor is the same, the oil pan's different. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick it up in there where I can stand underneath of it with the impact. I'm going to go ahead and zip off the front diff. I'm going to go ahead and zip off the oil pan. We'll be using this oil pan on the other engine. And then of course we'll check the front dry shaft. You guys, a lot of you E53 guys know they like to strip out. They're not made long enough from the factory. We don't know anything about this car. I could tell you for sure that somebody's had it apart somewhat, because a lot of these bolts, you know, some of them are so tight the impact wouldn't take them out. Some of them are just finger tight. I can see the exhaust manifold bolts. Somebody's had those off or attempted to get those off. So everything's pretty much unknown. We could not drive this car beforehand to see if the transmission was good, so we don't know. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and on the new engine reseal the valley pan. We'll go ahead and check out the oil separator. We may or may not run an oil catch can on this, and we know it needs control arms. We'll probably do that later on, and we'll probably go ahead and do the guibo bushing and look at the carrier bearing on the rear drive shaft. So there's one thing you have to know about this also. I want to take out the bolts of the collector. They're just breaking off, they're gone. So we'll go ahead and bang those out. Putting this back in there, unless you take the exhaust system off of the car, which is going to be a pain in the ass, you're not going to be able to get the collectors line back up. We want to cut it back here. We'll cut it right there in the flat, and over here where the big flat spot is. We'll go ahead and use the stainless steel band clamp to clamp that on together. That way, if we ever to remove the engine again, we can get it out real easy, not have to cut anything, not have to worry about messing with the collectors, and it should be pretty simple. One last thing, guys, a lot of you guys will probably write in the comments on this video, oh my god, how are you going to get this engine back in, how are you going to line it back up? Well, this is how it works. Basically what we're going to do, we just slid it out for right now. I'll put some plywood down to slide it back a little easier. We could even put the tires back and wheels back on it so the front could roll. When you roll it back under there, you can see that this guy here is a little cup. Yeah, I don't know if I could get underneath there to show you or not, or if you can see it, but right up in here, there's a little stub. That's your alignment pin. So basically all you have to do is roll it back under there, lower the body back down, and basically you just fight it and you line up these little, put the stub in the little cup. The back ones do not have alignment, they're just flat mount, and that's how you line it back up. So you're only moving the body, jacking the body up and down. Basically we're going to lower it back down on the engine. It's actually not that bad of a job. Like I said, if you have a lift, this is, for me, it's a piece of cake. Doing it in the gravel in front of your house, or by your house, I might say, is a little more difficult, but it's still not bad. You guys can easily do this at your house if your timing chain guides go. Not that big of a deal if you have the right tools.